Welcome to the 5 levels of conscious evolution and the 5 stages of a man. My name is Arttemis, founder of Sovereign Training Systems. Let's dive in. You're not stuck. You're just operating from a level you haven't fully named yet. Most men don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they try to evolve without understanding what stage of growth they're actually in. There are 5 levels. Understanding these levels are key for every man to gain the most out of life and to feel fully alive. Survival, discovery, transformation, awakened, and transcendence. Now, these 5 levels also correlate with the 5 stages of a man's development, from boyhood to manhood: the page, the knight, the prince, the king, and the elder. Look to my other video on the 5 stages of a man to understand these 5 developmental stages from page to elder. Level 1, survival, the page. Level 1 is all about I must stay safe. There's a survival under pressure when we start to develop as a little boy. Your entire system is protection mode. You're not living, you're managing pressure, avoiding pain, and trying to prevent loss at every turn. Now, you could be in survival right now in your life as an adult. You can be in survival with your money. You can be in survival stage with your relationships. You can be in the survival level with your purpose. There are many different ways to look at these 5 levels, but it's also important to understand the levels and where you're at specifically. The reality of living at this level is you're driven by fear. You're seeking to avoid pain instead of pursuing your purpose. You're reacting to life instead of creating it. Emotional suppression becomes your default and your way of protecting yourself. There's no real direction in your life at survival. You're just getting by. You're just managing the next threat. Early in life, your power gets buried under patterns of surviving under pressure, where you're seeking relevance in a world that feels unsafe. The mask forms early. Your specific mask that you carry forms as you learn to survive under pressure. Over time, it stops being protection. It becomes who you think you are. The mask is what it gives you is safety from pain. What it costs you is your true identity, your true power. The lie the mask is telling you is it's keeping you small so you maintain significance and relevance in your world. And the truth, you are not the mask. You've just outlived it. There's an exit from survival. Now, you don't think your way out of survival. You face what you've been avoiding. There are 3 essential moves to level up. So if you're in survival with your money, survival with your relationships, or you're in survival with your business, your spiritual path, what you're doing, here's what you do to level up. Number 1, pinpoint your passions. What are your core drivers for growth? What are you passionate about it? Write them down. Number 2, set your standards. Raise your baseline, raise your standards for how you eat, your nutrition, how you move, your fitness, and how you pray, your spiritual connection. And raise your standards for who you're partnering with. If you're in survival level with your finances, get around people with money. If you're in survival level in your relationships, get around healthy couples. If you're in survival level with your connection to God, get around men who have invincible faith and trust. And number 3, follow the flow. Get clear on where the flow of money is and where the real value is and connect to those markets. Pinpoint your passions, set your standards, raise your standards, and follow the flow. The threshold here is the man who escapes survival doesn't think his way out. He faces the pain he's been running from and begins to move to the level of discovery. Level 2 is discovery, the night. The action here, the thought is, there must be more than this. Here in discovery, the adventure begins. You start searching for knowledge and transformation. Books, mentors, frameworks, systems. You begin seeing your patterns. You feel like you're waking up. Everyone moves from survival to discovery, and the discovery phase is part of the journey. In the discovery stage, the mask upgrades. Now it wears the identity of the thinker, the learner, or the seeker of power. The mask says, I'm growing. The truth is still oriented by survival patterns. What this is protecting you from is being fully seen for who you are. And what you're avoiding at this stage is full commitment. You're thinking at this stage, if I just find the right strategy, everything will change. And as you're watching this right now, is this you? Are you searching? Are you looking for another book, another framework, another insight? But the real move you need to make keeps getting delayed. It keeps getting delayed. Discovery without a North Star becomes a refined form of distraction. You know more, but your life hasn't fully changed yet. Discovery is meant to lead to transformation. This stage of discovery is natural and necessary. Every man must pass through it. It sharpens your awareness, it expands your mind, it introduces you to who you could become. Discovery is a bridge, not a destination. You stay safe here by staying in your potential. You're always learning more, but you're never leading your life. And you're searching without a North Star to guide and awaken your true purpose. So if you're in this discovery stage, get a North Star, get clear on who you are, why you're here, define a mission statement, and let that propel you to the next stage of transformation. As you enter this transformation stage from knight to prince, now you see your path clearly. But seeing is not enough. The knights in the discovery phase can stall here by seeking pleasure before purpose. A knight is all about getting paid and getting laid. So as you seek that pleasure, put your purpose before pleasure. And there are 3 moves to level up. Level 1 is decision. Choose a clear direction in your life. End the endless seeking. One path, one focus, one commitment. Here, the energy stops scattering and you start getting clarity of your path, your focus, your commitment, your direction. Number 2, change your behavior. No more learning without action. There are daily non-negotiables, there's consistent execution, and there's measurable behavior. So in the Sovereign Training System, we teach lenses, clear, measurable, daily, weekly, and monthly targets, non-negotiables for your morning practice, what you're doing every morning in your breath work, your movement, your nutrition. As you create these daily non-negotiables, you start to build power in your mind, power in your body, power in your breath, and that translates into power in your will, word, and action. Your life here begins to change as you change your behavior. And a little bit more about behavior. Behavior is the highest form of communication to your subconscious mind, not affirmations, not journaling, not attending workshops, not taking classes. Behavior, shifting actions, and having daily non-negotiables. This is how we shift the subconscious and the identity. Number 3 is eliminate constraints. Remove the escape routes. Plug the holes. If you're leaking power, the knight will escape through information, options, and distraction. So we remove excess inputs, we close the open loops, and we eliminate the easy exits. This is really essential. So number 1, make a decision. Choose your clear direction. Number 2, change your behavior. Initiate daily non-negotiables, consistent execution, measurable behavior. And number 3, eliminate constraints. Clarity doesn't always come from more input. It comes from greater self-awareness and asking the right questions, such as, what's keeping you from going all in the direction that you're being guided to go in? What's keeping you from going all in to your mission and purpose? The threshold here is you don't need more information. At the end of discovery, you drop the image you think you need to have to be successful. You drop the mask of the hero, the protector, the people pleaser, the nice guy, and you learn how to build something real in alignment with your core values, your vision, and your deeper purpose. This is key. Build something real in your life. Rise to the calling of being a sovereign, empowered man. Level 3, transformation, the prince. Now, many of people on our planet right now are in this stage and they're seeking more knowledge, more training, and more tools. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is a trap. In the transformation level, you say, I know who I am and I know how I serve. Now you pick up the pace. You train hard. You commit more fully. You push and grow. You find one thing and you go an inch wide, a mile deep, and you achieve some results. You start to genuinely change your life. Things start to improve with your money, your finances, your family, your wife, your marriage. This transformation stage, this is the real work. It's the important work, and it matters at this level. In the transformation, though, the mask becomes more sophisticated. Your mask doesn't disappear in transformation. It upgrades to its most deceptive form yet. I'm still working on myself. I just need more clarity. I'm healing this. And silently, you're saying to yourself, I'm not ready to go all in. It's interesting, though, at this stage that you have achieved results. You can show them, they're demonstrable, but there's still this hesitation. There's still this silent voice. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not perfect enough. And that voice is keeping you from going all in. That is the voice of the mask and the ego. If these statements feel true for you, this is why the transformation stage can be the most dangerous trap of them all. If you've been in the transformation stage for 5, 10, and even 20 years, believe me, I got stuck here for 20 years of my life, and you're still not achieving your dreams, it's because of the shift you need to make here. Here's the transformation trap. You learn, you take action, you achieve progress, you feel the resistance of the ego. I'm not good enough. The mask, I'm not capable enough. I need to keep working on myself. You process the mask, you try to fix it, and then you reset. You go right back to where you started. You're always becoming, but never fully standing in your true masculine power to lead. This is also called oscillation of the mask or the ego. It's your identity trying to fix itself. And if you get stuck in this transformation trap and you don't see it, you get really either despondent or frustrated or just overwhelmed because you don't know that you're trying to heal something that cannot be healed. You do not heal the ego or the mask. You just shift orientation, identity, and architecture. And this is sovereign. The Prince problem. When you're at the Prince stage and you've done a lot of transformation work, here's the thing. You can see the throne. You can feel your potential, but a part of you inside is waiting to awaken. You're not stuck because you don't know enough. You're stuck because you won't fully choose and go all in. The mask has got you here, but what got you here won't get you there. The mask lets you grow just enough to stay in control of your world. Here's the mask's final move. Just keep working on yourself so you don't question it because it feels like progress. But instead of leading your life, you stay busy, just continuously working on yourself. The threshold here is transformation ends when you stop preparing to become the man you desire and you begin to shift your orientation, identity, and the very architecture of sovereign power. You discharge the hold of the hero, the protector, the people pleaser, the nice guy, and you step in to your true masculine power. The trap isn't transformation. It's using transformation as your call to rise. At the end of this stage, you don't need more tools. What you're avoiding is the full exposure of the mask, taking full responsibility and going all in. So working on yourself transforms into activating a clear signal. The light and the darkness become one. Managing your powers, managing your patterns to turning pain into fuel. Becoming better to becoming authentic. You learn to penetrate your world with a clear signal. You show up fully. You're willing to call yourself out, call people out. You're willing to say no. You're willing to lean into your edge. You do more things that are uncomfortable, not because they're uncomfortable, because you are committed. From transformation to awakening to prince to finally the king. So now you've grown, but growth is not authority. This is where most men loop in transformation. This is where many men are trying to heal something that cannot be healed. At the awakened prince, the awakened knight, the awakened king, you learn to shift your mask from being your identity to the instrument to serve God in your deepest purpose. This is the power of moving into the awakened stage, where the mask as an orientation stops choosing your life, and you shift it to serving your deepest purpose. And for those of you who know the power of God, serving God in your deepest purpose. So there's 3 priorities to step through here. Unveil the mask. To move from transformation to awaken, you end the need to prove yourself, to people please, or to seek significance from your outer world. You know the orientation of the mask. You know its power to deceive you. You see the cost of wearing this mask in all areas of your life. And you perceive where you're still avoiding going all in, drifting or sedating the pain of growth. The outcome here is your power is no longer fragmented. With the mask unveiled, you start to project a clear signal to your woman and your world begins to respond based on who you are, an authentic signal, a clarity of power, not what you say and not what you do, but who you are. Number two, you take full responsibility. You end the concept of working on it. Your decisions are clear. You own the outcome and you feel it each day as it's already happening. You imagine the end result. You step into the feeling of the end result. You move without needing certainty because your faith is strong. And your walk with God, that feeling of being guided, is getting stronger and stronger every day. And you lean into that feeling at the awakened stage. You start to make actions based on insight, inner sight, actions based on intuition, alignment with your creator, your direction, your purpose. The outcome here is you learn to take full command of the field. And three, this is the most powerful part, the most powerful step, is you activate the dark warrior within and you take decisive action. Certainty is built through gaining clarity. You cut out the noise and distractions. You cancel what is necessary. You activate your darkness within and you learn to wield your dark warrior consciously. The outcome here is the oscillating patterns of the transformation stage end. You connect to the darkness. You allow the darkness to become integrated with the light, and you take command of the field with both your darkness and your light. Level 4, awakening, the king. Every man wants to be a king, but few men are willing to pay the price. Stage 4, awakening. The belief here is I now lead. I take full responsibility, and I take command of the field. At this level, you act without waiting. You decide. You adapt, adjust, and execute, as my great friend and mentor Raul would say. Pain stops being resistance. It now becomes your fuel. In this stage, a man learns to transform his pain into his purpose. And he's a friend of pain. Pain is okay. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable is normal and natural, and the pain doesn't even bother you anymore. Now, listen to me very carefully. When you become a king is very clear on who he is and who he is not. A king takes command. So when the mask comes off, you no longer live through the limitations of the hero, the protector, or the people pleaser. You take command and you lead. You know who you are and you know who you are not. And that definition is a clear signal. The shift into power at the king level is from thinking to having clarity under pressure, from sedation to emotional fitness, transforming the pain into fuel, from speed to decisiveness, from force to unshakable consistency. The prince waits for the right moment. The king creates the moment. One of my great mentors said, you don't wait for the spirit to move you. Successful people move the spirit. So you don't wait for the right moment. You learn to create the moment. And the more you create it, the more you're in command. You don't cross into awakening by just understanding yourself. You cross into this level when you can recognize the pattern of the mask you wear and the ascension process. When you are ready to take command, you will learn to transform the mask from identity to the instrument of your deepest purpose. A king has this full connection to purpose and the ability to transform the mask into a new orientation. The orientation of your purpose, of your alignment with your true self, your clear signal, becomes so strong that the voice of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, that never stops you. You don't even really hear it that much anymore because the signal of your purpose, the identity that you've built, is a driving force. Now, as you're crossing into this awakening, you've also fully awakened the dark warrior. When the mask drops, something precise, unfiltered, and raw is revealed, not aggression. The dark warrior is awakened. Even here, though, kings can fall. The awakened king can still collapse. He can fall back into overthinking, avoidance, and identity. This happens sometimes with great pressure or great calamity or great crisis. As you've built something great and something bad happens, you can fall back into the old patterns that you used to have. The difference from a king and a prince is not that the king never falls. It's that he recovers faster because he's all in. So the old question is, what do I do next? The right question is, where do I need to shift my focus to more effectively achieve my goals and targets? The old pattern is processing the collapse. The king's response is you own it and move on. You don't just build the king, you awaken him. As you remove the mask, power is activated. The question is not what do I need next. The question then becomes, as a king, what will leave my legacy? And that leads us to level 5, Transcendence The Elder. Now, I want to tell you something. Kings and elders are rare in our world today. If you can surround yourself in a king or an elder, hang out with them, get to know them, read their books, follow them, because these men will activate something in you that's been dormant and asleep. The elder, though, is the rarest of them all. In 25 years, serving over 40,000 people and investing over $200,000 in my personal development, I've only met one elder that I got close enough to speak with. And this man was true elder. You'll know the difference between a king and an elder, that the elder doesn't need to show himself anymore to the world. He's already built the kingdom, and he's built several kings through mentoring. The elder sits in the back of the room. He's quiet. He has accomplished great things, but he doesn't share it or flaunt it. And if you know he is that elder, if you know he's that man, the one thing I recommend you do is go up and ask him, who are you? How'd you get to where you are? And will you help me? Will you mentor me? Because the elders will not reach out and give their help anymore. They must be asked. So if you have the pleasure of being in a workshop or a room where an elder is, and you know he's an elder, this is the mistake I made, is I didn't go ask that elder for mentoring because I didn't know these 5 levels, and I didn't know what I could do, the opportunity I was missing out at, because I was still in my knight and prince ego. And when I dropped my mask and my ego, there's a humility, there's a grace. And I hope you can be humble enough to go attract an elder and ask him for mentoring, because he's waiting for the call that compels the answer. The transformation at elder level is, my life is no longer about me. At elder, you shift from achievement to creating true sustainable impact, from success to legacy. The question is, what drives the elder? My life is not about me. And what will I do to leave my legacy? And this is what changes the elder completely. The question is, who is better off because I lived? The elder leads by embodiment, not performance. They transmit, not present. Their life becomes instruction. The elder is like the legend on the map. Think Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus Christ, these great elders, these great men who transformed a society, a world, an entire civilization. This is the elder. An elder doesn't need fame. They live in alignment. The elder doesn't need scale. They penetrate the world with their depth. Their presence moves lives, communities, countries, because it's earned, and they are highly valued everywhere they go. So here is the 5 levels again, and the relationship to pain. The page avoids their pain. The knight studies their pain. The prince works on their pain, transformation, and the king uses pain as fuel. And then finally, the elder has fully redeemed the pain and transformed his entire lineage and his legacy. Most men, though, never leave the prince stage on their evolutionary path because they don't understand the language and the insights of sovereign. It's important for you to have this language. This is why I'm teaching you this stuff today, because I didn't have this language 5, 10, 20 years ago when I started my prince phase. And I want 10,000 men, leaders, knights, princes, and kings to fully redeem their pain, not just work on themselves, but to fully awaken and become the man that God made them to be. So let's review what we've learned. Men don't fail in survival. Many men evolve, then stall at transformation. Transformation feels like progress because you understand yourself and you begin to improve yourself, but you never fully step into your authority. The man you're becoming is hiding behind the mask that you carry. Wherever you are, knight, prince, or king, you've just seen the full map of your evolution. Be thankful for this. It's wonderful that you know that you can keep ascending the levels, and that elder is one of the greatest achievements you can achieve in a lifetime. The most important thing to know right now is not what stage you're in. It's actually the mask that you carry. The mask is what fragments your power, drains your energy, and keeps you oscillating between growth and collapse, regardless of how long you have been on this path. What the mask is costing you now, every day as you lead from your mask, your power leaks in performance instead of presence. Your energy drains into managing your image, constantly building status and trying to please and prove others, prove yourself and please others. Your relationships receive your mask output, but not your full depth. Your business reflects your oscillating identity, not your sovereign clarity. The mask doesn't just limit you, it fragments power. A fragmented man operates from split signals. He says one thing and feels another. He leads in one area and collapses in another. He works harder yet gains less ground. The knight gets trapped as the seeker. The prince gets trapped as the transformer. And the king under the mask gets trapped as the performer. Yes, even kings can take their masks into the kingdom, and that is brutal. The kings need to unveil the mask as fast as possible. So, what is the mask that is holding you back right now? This answer changes everything. I created the Sovereign Power profile, revealing the exact mask pattern, fragmenting your power, and the specific path to remove it. The Sovereign Power profile is to help you discover your dominant mask. Which mask is running your identity? Where are your power fragments? Your sovereign path forward, the exact stage you're in, and the single most important shift to move from fragmentation to coherence and alignment and capacity. It's time to awaken. If you're watching this right now and you see yourself in the knight and the prince, discovery and transformation, and you're ready to rise into that stage of awakening, you're ready to stop working on yourself, take the Sovereign Power profile, stop carrying the weight that you were never meant to carry, name the mask, see the cost, take the first step into your awakening. Click the link below this video or go to bit.ly/sovereign-path, all lowercase, and this is your time to awaken.